Hey guys, it's Gameface here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be chatting to James Allcott, who some of you guys might know from the XO channel, obviously his involvement with the guys over there, with obviously Brian, Lawrence, Will, Stephen and Cam Kirkham. You may also know him from his own YouTube channel as well, James Lawrence Allcott, and you might also know him from Ball Street. He's done lots of different things and we chat about all those different things in this video, and of course he was involved in the Wembley Cup as well last year, so lots to talk about in this interview. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you do, I'd appreciate you hitting that like button. Also subscribe if you haven't already as well, to try and hit 25,000 subscribers, and don't forget you can also subscribe to him as well, as he gets very close now to 20,000 subscribers. His links are in the description below. I'd appreciate you subscribing to him as well. So I think it's just about everything you'll see during this video. I do cut between a few different clips, and that's because there was a slight bit of lag on the Skype call, so there are a few cuts here and there, but hopefully it's all come together quite nicely, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Without further ado, let's crack on with it. Okay, so today, guys, we are joined by a very special guest. We've got James Allcott. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, pal. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks. Appreciate you coming on. And basically, just want to try and find a little bit more out about yourself and exactly what it is you do, really.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking forward to finding out myself, to be honest.
We're going to try and dig deep.
Yes, let's do it, man. Yeah, this is weird. Normally it's the other way around.
I know, I've flipped it.
I know, very strange, very clever.
So first of all, for people that don't know exactly who you are, what you do, tell us a bit about what you do with Ball Street, XO, and your own YouTube channel.
Yeah, sure. So, so I am a producer for Ball Street. Ball Street has a relationship that, in terms of kind of working with XO and helping XO achieve what they want to achieve. So for a long time, for a good few years now, I've been a presenter and a producer for Ball Street, and also produced for XO quite a lot. It's kind of work on both, and then yeah, I have my own channel as well, which I started about a year ago. Just to kind of, I don't know, just to kind of have that kind of creative freedom. If you've seen any of my stuff, then it's quite wide ranging. There's obviously there's a lot of football stuff on there. I have my own interview series called The Process, but I also, I've got a bit of a weird sense of humor at times. So I've got a few sort of, I guess, comedy kind of videos on there as well. So so that's me. There's, yeah, a lot going on, I guess, because I've got, yeah, I have Ball Street, I have XO, I have my own channel, and I have my own football podcast as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got a podcast, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, probably too much going on, but I love it. I really enjoy every single aspect of it.
So you're on screen as well as behind the scenes as well. You say you're a producer, was it, for XO?
Yeah, so producer for XO. I sort of help the guys with the content that we're making. Obviously, it's still very early stages with XO, and we just scratched the surface with it. So it's going to be really exciting. Hopefully, a couple of years for that channel as the guys look to sort of grow it and make it bigger and bigger. Because obviously, people know those four in their own right. They're so talented, and so yeah, we're just trying to kind of get them together when we can, and if not, try and make content that sort of just shows them in their best light, really.
Yeah. I should have probably started with this, to be honest. I want to go back and sort of find out a little bit more about you. So age-wise, you, what, 30, is it?
32.
32?
Yeah, I know, yeah. I've got sort of one of those faces.
Yeah, you look much younger than that as well. I mean, I'm nearly 20. You look closer to 20 than I do. I used to get really annoyed about it, but I'm actually, as the years go on, I enjoy it more and more. Sometimes when you're like in your mid-20s and you're still getting ID'd, or even in your 30s, but now I totally embrace it. I'm loving every second of it. As long may it continue that I look a little bit younger than my age, but yeah, it doesn't hold me back at the moment, at least. Youthful, very youthful.
Indeed, mate.
Where were you born, brought up? Where were you before?
Yeah,
you're in London now, aren't you?
Yeah, so I live in London. I've lived in London for how long now? Coming up to 10 years, I guess, maybe a bit less. Before that, I grew up in Surrey, so that's just outside of it. In a sort of place called Leatherhead, which is, I mean, it's so boring. You can't really describe it. It's fine. It has no real identity. Like on the Process, when I was chatting to Geordie about his name, True Geordie is such a great name. Like I have no option. We were talking about it, how it's such a weird place. Often, say you're from Liverpool, you're from Manchester or Leeds, it gives you such a identity of who you are and where you're from. And Surrey's just just doesn't have that as well. So you
doesn't do much, does it?
No, not really. So you have to kind of go searching for other things. So yeah, that's where I grew up.
And so you moved to London, what, through uni or through this job with?
No, so I went to uni in Sheffield.
Right.
I was sort of desperate to get out of Surrey and sort of go to a big city, get away from that kind of area, and not because there's nothing wrong with it, but just to kind of get to a big city where it's a bit more exciting. So I went to Sheffield for university, which I loved, absolutely loved Sheffield. And I did think about staying up north because when I came back down, I got really annoyed at how miserable southern people were.
Yeah.
I'd realised I saw that kind of comparison having spent 3 years up there. But then, came back to South America, which I'd kind of promised a mate that I'd always do. And in that period of time, that's kind of, I am showing my age here, before you had like Wi-Fi on the like buses and stuff. So
Right.
you end up being on a bus for 15 hours and all you've got is like your iPod or like a notepad or whatever. And I kind of was really trying to figure out what I wanted to do. At uni, I did sport development, which is kind of, I guess, people that have seen what I'm about when it comes to sport, that course is about the power of sport and often people who, and how it can help as in terms of society, in terms of your own personal kind of journey, I guess, as well, and how that's implemented in government. And I was going to do that. I was going to become either a football coach or a PE teacher or working in government to help the aspects of sport that can make people better, basically. So I was doing that for a bit, obviously at university, but then when I got out of it, I was like, this isn't really what I want to do. I didn't really, any of those jobs that I just described are fantastic jobs and can be very fulfilling, but it didn't feel like it was enough for me. And I'd always wanted to be a sports presenter. When I was a bit younger, I did a bit of acting, which I then got a bit self-conscious about. So I kind of turned away from that. And I think that's the thing about life. You kind of, as you go along, you sort of naturally turn away, or as long as you keep moving forward, you turn away from certain things. And then you end up getting where, ideally, you end up getting to a point where you know what you want to do with your life. And I think that's what happened to me in South America. As I say, you didn't have Wi-Fi, so you end up writing, and I started writing like a journal, and I had a mate with me. He was writing a diary as well, and his was like, we went to this place, I saw this, da 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 da. Whereas mine was like a story of like, so right, we met these two girls, and I thought that, and it was more like that. And I realized I really enjoyed like writing it and being creative, and I started to write a sitcom, and it all just started to kind of flow out of me. So I realized then that maybe something that was a bit more creative, that might be something that might work for me. So I tell me to stop if I'm rambling here.
No.
So I then moved into trying to be a sports presenter because my mum had said it to me when I was about like 14. She was like, I think I can see you doing that. And it kind of stayed in my mind, I guess. It must have. So I then tried to move into that. And that's when I got into the media. I became a runner at ITV, at the building at ITV. And then from there, worked my way up the ladder, and then ended up, long story short, moved away mainstream television, and now now I've been online media for a good few years now, about 3 years. Yeah.
So have you always enjoyed football? Have you always played football and done sport, been involved in that sort of thing?
Yeah, massively. Yeah. So from about 5 years old, I played football. It's always been a sport that I just totally love. Played tennis, played cricket, played a lot of cricket actually. But actually, I think football's always definitely been the one. Even as I get older, actually, I'm sort of starting to get into, say, NFL, basketball, a tiny bit more, those other sports. And I think, for me, it's like I do love I love the stories that come from sport. Like I love sport documentaries. Those kind of things I really, really enjoy doing. But yeah, I've always played football. Played sort of lower semi-pro, very, very lower semi-pro. Played at university at Sheffield and things like that. So yeah, always played football. I always loved sport, but football's definitely always been the one.
What position do you say play?
I'm a centre midfielder. So I'm
Right.
sort of like, no pace whatsoever. But kind of smart. I was able to read the game.
Turlo.
Like a very poor man's Pirlo. More like a kind of, maybe like a Michael Carrick kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy I was.
Xabi Alonso.
That would be amazing. Yeah, probably not that good. A bit more bite maybe into me because I haven't got the quality that he's got. But yeah, that's it. Always enjoyed playing centre midfield. Always kind of quite vocal on a football pitch. I think that's probably my main things. I was quite good at sort of seeing a picture, and I had this sort of verbal Tourette's from like 5 years old when it came to playing football, that I always just kind of chatted through the game and organised people.
That's interesting how you say you were so vocal on the pitch. I've played Sunday League football for like 12, 13 years. I was always the sort of the quieter one on the pitch, but
Right.
I played as a striker, so I wasn't as involved in sort of the core of the team.
Why do you think you're quiet?
I don't know. Suppose I was more sort of thinking in my head and doing that sort of thing as opposed to being so vocal. There's a lot of big characters in the team that I played in as well. And so I was probably one of the smaller characters in that team. So yeah, I don't know why that was really, but just personally for me, I never really got to grips with talking during the game. I was always sort of focusing on the match, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? I think that for me, maybe it's actually the opposite side of it then, that I kind of generally in sort of social situations, I'll sort of fit the pocket that's necessary. So if you need someone to be loud, then that's cool. I'll do that, and I'll just mouth shut and let you talk. And when it's time for me to talk, then I'm happy to do that. So I think that was maybe it a lot of the times when it came to sport, because, and that's, I think sport's team sports are amazing things because you do have to learn that social dynamic. And I think quite early on, I kind of saw that I was quite good at that element of it, of kind of seeing, maybe it's an emotional intelligence thing as well. Like I'd say I'm quite a sensitive guy. And so when I could see, say, a striker miss a chance and his head go down, I thought, the best thing for everyone is if I make sure that guy feels okay about it. So next time he has a shot, and even if it goes off the bar, I'll be the first one to shout, good decision. You might, got to have a shot. That's cool, that kind of thing. So I kind of learned that kind of early on, and it seemed to work. And like most things, you kind of, when you get a bit of a buzz out of that, you kind of sort of stick with those kind of characteristics, and they end up getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's definitely something when it comes to sport that I've always just kind of taken on that role. It's just kind of blurts out of my mouth. It's very strange, though.
Like you say, in a team sport, sometimes you do have to fit what the team needs, don't you? You've got to be that person that fits what they need. And I suppose I just never felt like that was needed in my team. And like I say, sometimes you do need that vocal person in the side, don't you?
Yeah, and I think maybe that's a positional thing as well. Being a striker, you're not always involved in it, so that's a little bit harder. Whereas where I played sort of centre midfield, won the ball and gave it to the better players. And so when you are there, you are in the thick of it all of the time, and you can kind of see everything that's going on as well. Maybe that's part of it.
Whilst we're on the topic of football, we may as well talk about your team, QPR.
When's this going out? Because I'm going to QPR tonight.
I was about to say, it's Watford, isn't it, tonight?
Yes, yeah, it's huge. And as a Leeds fan, I look forward to you not patronising me, because other football fans will do, because they'll go, this isn't a big game, you're not going to get far, blah, blah, blah. But for a team that's sort of clearly mid-table in the Championship this year, hopefully, if everything just stays these kind of things, like, this is the best FA Cup run that QPR have ever been on in my lifetime. That's how bad we are in the FA Cup. And so, if they're, God, I'm even scared to talk about it, because obviously, look, we'll get pumped 5-0 now, and then everyone will be laughing at me in the comments. But I got QPR today. I got a season ticket. I've had a season ticket for a long time with my dad, and absolutely still love going to QPR. It never gets old. And I think that's a big thing for me as well. And I'm pleased I've kind of been able to keep going to the games, because there's nothing like it,
I mean, what do you think of how they're doing this season? Steve McClaren in charge. You've lost the last 5 or 6 games, have you, or something in the league now? You're a bit of a bad run, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. But I think it's such a difficult division, the Championship, that literally anyone can beat anyone in that division, and so the margins are very, very tight. And our squad is not a good squad. We've totally overperformed, in my opinion, for the squad that we've got, and the money that, if you look at how much money's been spent on that squad, often people think with QPR we've just splashed a load of cash. That's not the case anymore, because we ran out. So McClaren, I didn't want him in. There's a video on my channel going, what the fuck is this guy doing coming in? I'm a massive fan of Ian Holloway, so I was gutted about that. But he's done really well. He's done really, really well, and he's a smart coach. I think he is cringeworthy totally. His post-match interviews, any of his interviews are very difficult to watch. Often when you watch a game and if you see changes that he makes or you see how well drilled the team is, he's done a decent job, and you can't really sniff at that. Like, everyone will turn on him inevitably when when it goes a little bit wrong. And I don't think his stay of execution will be a lot less than other people's because it's Steve McClaren.
Yeah,
He's the Wally with the brolly. But he's done very well. He has done very well.
Do you think the wheels are coming off now, though?
No, not at all. Actually,
No?
But I think the playing squad, there's good characters there. It seems, because we had a horrible start to the season. We lost the first 4, one of which we lost 7-0 away at West Brom.
Right.
Or 7-1? Was it 7-1? Anyway, and he's been able to turn that around, and it's been basically partly down to the coaching, but partly down to the personnel. There's real men, out there. There's not people just there for the money. So I think we'll be fine this season. QPR hasn't got the money of those other teams that are just bigger teams or have come down from the Premier League. But I don't think it was falling off at all. I think we lost a little bit of focus because I think we're quite excited about this FA Cup run.
Yeah. And fifth round now, isn't it?
5th round tonight, yeah. So I think if that continues, which would be amazing, then I would expect our form in the Championship to continue to be a bit dodgy. But if you look at the table, we should be fine. We should be fine.
Would you take an FA Cup win if you got relegated?
What the whole of the FA Cup?
Yeah, as in you win the FA Cup but you get relegated.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
You take that?
Yeah, take us. Yeah, we
League One.
I go back to League Two. Absolutely fine, because football's about trophies and moments and days out, and those days out, be it a playoff final when when you wait 20 years and Bobby Zamora scores a last-minute goal.
Yeah,
I can talk about it now or watch that goal, and it still means just as much. And so I would happily be relegated if we won the FA Cup, because that's a quarter-final that we win. That's tonight winning. That's a semi-final winning at Wembley, and that's winning a final at Wembley. That's all that matters. I think that's the thing I realise as the seasons go on, especially for a team that's been in Division 2, has been in the Premier League, it's been everywhere in between, is there's always next season. There is always next season. Like you should care about it, because that's the point. But you should also understand that actually sometimes, like, some of my best moments as a football fan have been when we were in Division 2 with Ian Holloway as manager, where we had a group of players. We had like 4 QPR fans in the team who cared, and when we went up, it was amazing. So I think that's a problem when you support a massive team, and I don't envy Man United, Man City, because anything under a trophy is failure. And so you literally, if you win the trophy, you get to have a gasp of air, and then you've got to go back down into this struggle of like winning, or that's it. There's no scope for anything. Like the other side of it is that, look, it's frustrating I think it's frustrating for any other football fan outside the top 6, because you feel like there's a massive ceiling and that's getting worse and worse. But I mean, it's all about the ride. It's all about the ups and downs. And look, so Leeds, if they go up this season, that's going to feel unbelievable, isn't it? Right?
It is, yeah. It's going to be the first time in sort of my lifetime that I can remember that Leeds have been in the Premier League.
And so you won't forget it. And also, weirdly, all the bad times will make it that much sweeter. So I would bite your hand off for an FA Cup win. That'd be mental.
One of the things I wanted to also talk about is what it's like working with Flav.
Flav, yeah. Oh God, Flav was an usher at my wedding. After knowing him for like 8 months. So,
I was about to say, how did you get to know him? Were you hired together, or were you mates before? Or what?
No, not at all. No, we literally were not aware of each other at all. He started a week before me, and I think I've always enjoyed people who aren't like me. I like that. I think that gives you something to bounce off, but at the same time, you also probably need like a root, a sort of moral similarity there. Yeah. And I think we certainly have that, me and Flav, and we just hit it off straight away. I think we both hit it off straight away, and it was it was a joy. One of the highlights of my week. It's weird that it's just a coincidence that there's a camera on when we do the One for the Weekend podcast, because it is just us catching up a little bit, and we know each other very well. We kind of know our chemistry is quite good. I play the enthusiastic one, and he plays the kind of the miserable one, and he's not that he is not that miserable. I'm sure everyone that. But yeah, it's amazing. He's the life and soul of he's the life and soul of the office. He's left now. He's left recently. And yeah, we did the process on my channel actually, and sort of chatted about everything. And so yeah, if people wanted to find out more about Flav, that's a good one to watch. But yeah, he's a cracking guy. I literally can't speak highly enough of him, and I literally don't think there's a single person who has a bad word to say about Flav. And so although maybe in the comments sometimes people go, "Oh, you miserable bastard" or whatever.
Yeah,
he's an absolute diamond.
And where do you see yourself going with Ball Street now? Where's sort of the projected future for you in Ball Street?
So yeah, so Ball Street, we're kind of looking at sort of a few new changes with Ball Street that will come into action soon. We hope. We've had to kind of we've had to sort of calm down some of the videos recently for a few factors, none of which are that interesting really at all. And obviously, it's best for me not to kind of reveal all that just yet. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited about a few of the kind of conversations that we've been having with Ball Street recently, and the direction that we want that channel to go. So that will play itself out, and all the Ball Street fans that have been sort of watching from the start, I would just sort of say, yeah, just stick with us for now. But yeah, we're going to kind of improve and evolve, and that will come. Yeah, and so for me, I'm working more and more with XO and with the guys, and I've gotten really well with, Lawrence is a really good friend of mine, and Brian's become a great friend of mine. And being on, I do the kickoff with the guys on the weekend each week, and so that's been an amazing thing to do as well. So there's that, and then yeah, XO. I think we're also just really excited about where it can go. We've got 4 really talented guys there who are passionate about sort of coming together and making something really unique and big and exciting that talks to people within YouTube, people who enjoy YouTube, sort of at eye level, instead of a lot of sort of stuff that can sometimes be a bit patronizing. So the journey for XO is really just starting. Getting more involved with that kind of stuff is something that I'm really excited about, because there's going to be some amazing videos that we'll end up doing on that channel as well. So there's a lot going on. It's a great place to work.
There's quite a special feeling about XO, that the people you've got working together, there's sort of a real feeling that you can go on and do something really special with that group of lads. Do you see expanding, or how are you going forward at XO? Is the plan to have a sidemen type sort of lineup, or are you keeping it pretty tight? How's it working with that?
Well, so we've got, and do you know what, I've just realised, I mentioned Cam at this, Cam Kirkham, I think, is one of the most exciting YouTubers out there. His mind is so creative. Yeah. And he is just such a nice guy. I'm amazed that Sam Kirkham is someone who I think is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. He's a really, really, really talented, passionate, and just very kind guy as well, funny guy. And he's obviously part of it as well. And so I guess I've got to be careful really in terms of revealing too much when it comes to XO, because guys are very invested in it, and how we sort of bring stuff out and how we move the channel forward is really important. It's not, sometimes it's, with your channel, I'm sure that, if you have certain videos, you've got to be careful about when you put them out and how you put them out and how you market them and how much you give away and all that stuff. But I think, like you say, I think the people, Will is absolutely killing it on YouTube. He knows the game, and he's just fantastic at what he's doing. Brian just levels up time and time again. He never stands still, and he's about real quality, and he's stuck to that. He's stuck to that kind of ethos throughout his career. And Lawrence is a massive part of that as well. Those two, those two have incredible chemistry as well. Yeah. So those two are great. Lawrence is super talented as an editor. And a producer and everything. He's basically good at everything. And Stephen is probably the funniest guy on YouTube. So it's an amazing cast for a channel at this moment in time. And I would just say watch this space. I think it's going to be big, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be very entertaining for anyone who's watching. So if you haven't subscribed to XO yet, make sure you do.
Yeah, I'll obviously leave all the links down in the description below for people to check them out. I also want to talk about the Wembley Cup as well. You featured in that with XO. How did it feel to walk out in Wembley?
I mean, yeah, it was amazing. It was sort of a dream of mine that I didn't even realise was a lifelong dream, if I'm honest, because it's so far-fetched for you to do something like that. And I was a bit scary initially because I was in a really bad shape. Actually, I was I'd stopped playing football. I'd sort of finished my last Sunday League season with I don't know if you know Smithy from Soccer AM.
Right, yeah.
So he has a team, and I played for his team last season, and loved it. But I'd stopped, and I hadn't sort of played since, and I'd let myself go. So I kind of, once I realised this opportunity is here, I wanted to really sort of grab it with both hands. And for me, when it got to that point where we walked out, and initially, I wasn't even in the squad because with numbers and all sorts of things, and then got in the squad, and then all of a sudden got made captain, which allowed me to kind of walk out. You know, someone who's played football for so long, it was really nice. It was really nice, and it was the game as well. We gave as much as we could. They had a lot more quality in their team, but I think it was great that we were able to kind of stick with them to the last kick of the game. I think for fans watching it, it was maybe a bit disappointing because there wasn't a lot of goals and pieces like that. But for me, on a personal note, we kind of gave it everything. I was in good shape for it, and it was a massive moment. And going out at Wembley would have been great, but going out at Wembley when there's a crowd, you can hear it. It just like your senses are just at a different frequency. It's mad. You're just kind of trying to keep yourself calm, which I think I was able to do. And it was great with the lads we put together. We're all just mates with each other, different groups, but then we all came together, and
everyone was sort of rooting for you. You were everyone's sort of favourite team, really. You could tell that, when you got knocked out, half the audience left, so you could really tell everyone was rooting for you. I mean, you were playing alongside Cafu as well. There was a lot of big names you were sort of playing with and alongside. How was that, playing alongside Cafu?
I mean, what a weird, like, the fact that you've just asked me that question and I've got to answer it, I can actually do that genuinely is bizarre. He was an absolute gentleman, but he also kind of jumped into life once he got on the pitch. He didn't really speak the language, so he's just sort of making weird little cat calls at people, going woo woo when he kind of wanted your attention. But it was amazing you could kind of feel that he could see the picture of the game, and he was just 3 steps ahead. And so there are moments where he kind of said, sort of keep that 10 yards between us, because he understands the game a million times better than I obviously ever could. And it was hilarious sort of going through the formation with him, and we were going, look, do you want to play sort of central of a 3, or do you want to play on the right or left? And he's like, whatever, because he's he's going to be fine. Do you know what I mean? He's Cafu. Yeah. And probably one of my favorite moments, 2 favorite moments were with him. One was, we were warming up. We had about 6. It's very tightly timed, so we had about 6 minutes to be on the pitch and warm up. And everyone's sort of kicking the ball about, and I was just sort of having a look around, and then just saw Cafu like there, just on his own. So I was like, I'm just going to go over to him. So I just went over to him, and I just gave him a cuddle. He's
got that face about him, though, hasn't he?
He's got that face. You're right. Yeah. And so I just gave him a cuddle, and I was just like, this is cool. So that was one moment, and then the second one, he was like man down. So someone did explain man down to him, and I said, I went man down. So players will be going. I pointed at him, and then went like, fancy a dribble. Like, go
right.
He just went, and then if you watch the game, the next time he gets the ball, the first time he gets the ball in that extra time, he goes on, and this is a 48-year-old man. Yeah. He goes on a run, and he beats about 1 or 2, and he literally was. He had the talent, but he had the audacity to go, and the fitness in extra time of a game to go, I'm going to go on this little run to try and beat every single player on this pitch. So I love that he even went for it. And yeah, he was cracking. He was so good. And yeah, he looked incredible. Like he still had a six pack and all of that. He could
Crazy
still
to think he was 48 as well.
insane. Yeah, if people ever say who's the best player he played with, Catherine's not bad. Like I'll tell you,
He's up there.
But yeah. I think the important thing is, like you said, the fans went when XO went. So what does that mean? XO need to come back next year. That's got to be, hasn't it? Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Do you reckon that'll happen?
I hope so. I think look, I think people were kind of they weren't sure about the format. I think it got what happens when you make it as competitive as it was. Is boys will be boys, and they will get petty and a bit angry, and that felt like it happened a little bit.
And we're not really used to that from the Wembley Cup, are we? We're used to sort of just see our favourite YouTubers walk out and have a game.
Exactly, and so I think you lose a little bit of the entertainment there, and that's what people have got to maybe try and remember. You kind of want to give it your all. It's not on me for it to be entertaining, but I think if they do it again, it'd be great if they did. I think there needs to be a little bit of a tweak because it got a bit funny, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I want to sort of end this sort of quick chat with sort of finding out more about your own personal plans with your channel. Are you planning to do sort of football stuff and sort of continue to sort of go towards more entertainment type things as well?
I think it's a real like different kind of journey for me, because with Ball Street there's a reporting element to it. Like you're trying to give football fans an opportunity to have a voice, and so it's not about you a lot of the time, whereas my own channel, that was part of the allure of it, was to kind of showcase what I'm about and what talents I have. So that's kind of come out, I think, naturally in terms of like I love my football and I think I can talk about that well, but I also think I can be creative and funny, and I have those kind of ideas, so there's that kind of prong of it. And then I like having like great conversations. Like hopefully people are getting something from this one. So the process is that element of it. And I sort of started the channel thinking this could easily fail, and if it does fail, then I want to make sure I'm making something where I've got something out of it selfishly. Yeah. So things like the process, I've been able to talk to some amazing people and get a new perspective on things. And that's something that I really do believe there's so many different right answers. You just got to find the ones that are right for you. And that's what I want to kind of do with the process. I think it's a really important strand on my channel. So yeah, I really believe I've got something to offer the platform. I think I can create something that will hopefully make you feel something, be it informative and opinionated in terms of the football stuff. The comedy stuff hopefully puts a smile on your face, and because I certainly won't be taking myself too seriously. The video I put out yesterday has got my face on my gut.
Yeah, I saw
that. So you can tell I don't really take myself too seriously. But then, the process I think people get a lot out of as well. So it's one of those where with YouTube you got to just kind of keep grinding, and it's one of those as well where it's weird because you're looking at views and subscribers, and those can kind of play with your mind a little bit. And I think that's a good journey for me personally to go on as well, where I need to keep going. Don't worry about all of that stuff. Just make sure you're getting better, becoming more skilled, because at the end of the day, that's what you can take into the rest of your career. Go and check it out. I think they might enjoy it. But most importantly, it's something I'm really enjoying. So yeah.
Yeah, the process is a really good little series, actually. I think and has definitely a lot of potential to grow. I think you got Zach and Jay on a couple of weeks back. You've had, I think, Flav, like I said, went on that as well. You've had quite a few people on there, obviously Brian recently as well. But I think it does definitely have a lot of potential with that series. So definitely go check it out if you haven't. The links to it is in the description below. You can check out James's channel there, XO as well, Ball Street, all those different things. And I guess that's where we'll end things here. Thanks so much, James, for joining me.
Thanks for having me on, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been good to have a chat with you. Thank you so much. And don't forget to also drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and of course, like I say, check the links below. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.